Good evening, everybody. I welcome you all to our first episode of Tea Time Talks. Tea time is one of my favorite times in the day when you relax, you take stock of the day. You win some, you lose some throughout the day. And this is a time to enjoy a nice cup of tea over a conversation with a friend. Normally, I call up a friend or I'm watching a favorite TV series. But I thought, let me take it to the next level and reach out to a larger audience. And today it is my privilege to have Chef Shankar Krishnamurthy as my first guest in this series. Chef Shankar Krishnamurthy doesn't need any introduction for people who are into food, and especially in Hyderabad. But for anybody from outside Hyderabad, let me introduce him to you. Chef Shankar is the director of Fusion Hospitality Private Limited and managing partner of Voila F9 Gourmet. He is a chef turned entrepreneur and a veteran in the food and hospitality industry for the last 35 years, and he's had a rich and varied experience. In the last 18 years, he has been instrumental in creating some fantastic restaurants in Hyderabad, Chennai, and Delhi. Some of us have been to his restaurants and we've regularly loved what he creates in terms of events, as well as, even if you walk into a restaurant, you're sure to get some memorable service and food in his restaurants. To name a few, it is Fusion 9, we have Delhi 9 Bistro, Shakespeare Muddle, and the recent one being the Glass Onion, where we also had an event recently. And he's a master in many cuisines of the world, right from Indian to Thai to Vietnamese to South American, Mexican. So, he's a multifaceted personality. And what I love about him, I'm new to Hyderabad relatively, but what I know, what I found out from friends is that he was one of the few chefs who introduced Hyderabad to global cuisines. Hyderabad has had a very rich tradition of, their own cuisine, but suiting to another palate is a different story. Hyderabadis don't adjust to new palates that easily, new cuisines that easily. And Chef Shankar did a very smart thing. His version of fusion lured people into international cuisines. Personally, I'm not a very big fan of fusion, but the way he does it, he has a Midas touch, I would say. So thank you so much, Chef Shankar, for joining us today for this chat.
Thank you, Shivani. Good evening, everybody. And I'm a coffee guy. So for me, it's coffee time, and any time of the day is good for coffee.
Okay, we don't discriminate with coffee lovers, but I'm here with my favorite cup of tea, and I make it a point to have a nice snack with it. So I'm having this nice jaggery with puffed rice. I don't know what
to healthy.
So, Chef Shankar, first of all, congratulations on completing 18 years of Fusion Hospitality. What an incredible journey it has been.
Yeah.
Let's start at the beginning. Tell us how this journey started with Fusion Night.
So I always divide my life into two parts. The first 17 years of my life was in hotels, starting with Oberoi's in Delhi, Bombay. Then I had a long stint in Dubai and then in Kathmandu. So we all reach a stage where we become executive chefs, and then options are, of course, to go and become on a general manager and so forth. But then people like us said that, why not now? We've been running hotels, we've been running so many outlets in hotels, let's branch off into our own.
Yes.
So that was one of those mad decisions, and said, let's start something of our own. And that's how Hyderabad happened in 2003. And I guess I've been lucky, right time, right place. The city was just evolving. And the offering at that time was pretty much limited to Indian restaurants and Chinese restaurants. I wouldn't even say Southeast Asian. So that's how Fusion 9 happened. And Fusion 9 basically was a new dimension of global cuisine offered to the city of Hyderabad. Hyderabad. What made it different was hands-on, being hands-on. Both my wife and me, she's also in the industry. We were there, so cooking, running, looking after people, hospitality. So it was like one big family working inside and outside. And that, guess, I think that worked well, and that works well even till date. And that's what I would always be grateful to the city. And we were evolving, the city was evolving, and Fusion 9 was the first step towards it in 2003. And post that, every year, literally for the last 17, 18 years, we have opened one new outlet. Again, always trying to do something different while keeping in the sync with the global trends. So in 2004, we opened the first Pan Asian restaurant called Cinnabar Red, which had a teppanyaki counter. And then we had the grill room, we had a full spice kitchen, we had the Deli Nines, the first delicatessen. So there are many first time efforts in the city, which has always kept us going, kept us happy to be, able to do it. Some things work, some things don't work, but we never stopped experimenting and never stopped looking towards what we should bring new to this town. And that's what has been keeping us. And I think the people appreciate that. And it's also given me the drive to go forward, and not only restaurants, bars, when we got into large scale. We grew Hyderabad. So from 2007 till current, we've been doing institutional catering. We have one of the largest kitchens in the country
Wow.
at a
At,
40,000 square
at
feet.
the
We have
time
a
you were
1,000
serving?
plus team working.
Okay.
And yeah, so we have about four, we were prior to COVID, we were doing about 35, 40,000 meals a day. We
Wow.
were also doing large
Big
scale
number.
banquets, weddings, social banqueting, weddings. So it's been a fun journey. I would say more that always say an organization of chefs. We are very proud of that culture in the company. And yeah, it's been a good ride.
Great. So let's go back, to your childhood, or, I saw on your Instagram, your profile says, in a lifelong affair with food. So when did this affair with food begin? When did you decide that hospitality is going to be your career?
I also call myself the accidental chef. So
Okay.
being from a Tambram family, and so you only work towards when you're growing, you only either you want to be an engineer or you want to be a doctor. The third option is a chartered accountant.
Yeah.
Well, couple of things did happen engineering, but I wanted a specific core in IIT. And when that didn't happen, catering college entrance exam, all India entrance exam happened for the first time in 1983. And one of my cousins, he said, why don't you just go and try it out? I knew nothing about this hotel industry, never entered a five-star hotel in my life. And then went and wrote an all India entrance exam. Well, I came in the top 10 in the country. And that's how my journey in the hospitality started. After joining catering college, that was the first time I entered a five-star hotel. And then that's how life changed. And then over the 3 years of catering college, that is 1983 to 86, one realized that F&B was far more dynamic as a department compared to the other areas in the hotel. And even in the food and beverage, it was very important that one had to get the know-how of the kitchen to understand, to able to function smoothly to the front of the house. And that's how I got into the Oberoi kitchen training program. And then that's how life took me along. If I actually specialized in French cuisine in 1986, French
Yep.
kitchen. And slowly, as I said, working in Dubai, I was fortunate to work under various nationality chefs and was fortunate to open 15 different restaurants,
Okay.
Lebanese to Greek to Italian, naming a few. And that's how the personal development also happened, the learning happened, the education happened, and got into a fully, completely committed to the world of food.
Okay. So how is it different to work with a chain like Oberoi's and then starting something of your own? And also the transition from being a chef to an entrepreneur. I mean, is it easy, or can every chef be a good entrepreneur?
I I always say that I'm a chef before a businessman. So that is the core is always a chef,
Mhm.
right? So that gives me comfort in saying it, and I get away with a lot of things also. You can get away being rude and get away being aggressive also.
Are you a temperamental
So
chef?
it does come back to bite me also quite often. Yeah, yeah. I am absolutely temperamental.
Oh,
It's
really?
worked well in many ways. It works you, drives you more towards the product. And but yes, it does come back to bite you when with certain occasions and certain times. Working with Oberoi's give us the best grounding background. I always tell people the first 5 years of your life, you have to focus on something that grounds you and that gives you the solid base.
Mhm.
After that, you can move around and start, moving towards where you want to go and specialize further or what you want to do. So that initial grounding was extremely important. Working in a hotel, rising all the way to the executive chef, you
Mhm.
are basically running one department. So you're looking after that one department. And rest everything was basically provided for. But when you become an entrepreneur, it's a 360-degree responsibility. I
Ab-
mean, when a bulb goes in a restaurant, you don't wait for the maintenance to dial the maintenance and say, come and change it. I mean, you look at it, it's your cost at the end of the day. And it's similarly, whether it's housekeeping, whether it is stewarding, whether it's kitchen, whether it's service, there are all the aspects of a standalone operations, the buck stops with you. And that's the fun part of it. And that's also, while it's exhausting and stressful, but that is the most rewarding part of it, being an entrepreneur. Can
Mhm.
everybody be an entrepreneur? I don't think so, because it requires a different mindset altogether. It is a combination of, you have to accept your failures, you have to be very firm in your head, you have to be very bold in your risk taking capabilities, and you have to accept failure and make it immediately, turn it around and say,
Work.
this thing is not working. How can I rectify it and work towards betterment it, save the situation? That aspect, if anybody who has that attitude, I think that is the most important attitude that's required in running as an entrepreneur today. I would say so.
Okay. So you have created so many restaurants, 15 to be precise. Tell me which restaurant gives you the maximum pride in your craft? I know this is a difficult one. It's like asking a parent who their favorite child is.
Yeah, I agree, but Fusion 9 has always been close to my heart. As I
Okay.
say, in my career, I think over 35 years, I would have been part of at least opening about more than 52 or 53 restaurants, all
Wow.
restaurants and
Okay.
hotels
So
and
these are just the
standalone.
fusion of.
But Fusion 9 was the first as an entrepreneur. And strangely, it has a very, very different bonding compared to other restaurants and other places which we open. So I would say, always say, that's the little bias towards there.
Okay.
Yeah, as a brand also, it's been accepted, and people, even though we open different brands, people always refer to me as a Fusion 9 person or
Oh,
even the team. So there's a huge connect there, and that's a huge emotional connect there. I would say so.
and I think Hyderabad also welcomed it with open arms, I would say. And
Absolutely,
the brand really
absolutely, yeah.
stands for quality still. So what cuisines do you love experimenting with the most and why? I mean, because you have mastered so many cuisines. At this stage, you still find something exciting to discover every day in cuisines.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, that never stops. I mean,
Okay.
Indian food has come of age big time today, if you see globally, and it's fun now. Finally, we are able to work with a Western sense in the thing, taking regional Indian food and giving it a little bit of a twist here and there, and playing around with the base essences, the flavors, the aromas, and presenting it in a much more fancier manner on the plate, which is looking pleasing to the eye, combining it in different ways. And so that's regional Indian is very hot right now. And so it's been, as I said, going along with the trend. We do something different in the confectionery bakery side, and then there was a wave of Southeast Asian happened over the last 4 or 5 years. So it's right now, I would say, a regional Indian is something which all of us have been very exposed very minimally. It's more because there is so much to learn, so much to learn. And another 5 years down the line also we'll still be learning and discovering India. So I think that that is the more fun part of the whole thing, that the discovery of new things. As India, food changes almost every 6 kilometers, food is changing.
Oh,
And
yes.
every household dish is done in a different manner. So unlike the classical French, unlike the classical cuisines of the global, India has got the amount of variety it has. The learning never stops, and that's where we are right now working on, and getting a quite an interesting experiences on that.
Excellent. I can't get over dishes like blue cheese kulcha and
Absolutely, yeah,
what
yeah.
you do. I mean, so much variation. How do you make sure, that fusion doesn't become
Having said
confusion?
exactly, having said that, that is where your base sensibilities has to be in place. You can't just combine two ingredients and expect them to work on magic, which is where the confusion part comes in, which is where the people think it's fancy, it's a fad, nothing. You got to know to combine the right flavors, the right textures to achieve the right results.
Absolutely. Now, moving on to a little serious topic, like 2020 was a challenging year for the F&B industry. What were the major challenges you faced as an entrepreneur, and how did you cope up? And what were the learnings of 2020?
So I guess like everybody, we've also been hit very badly in the sense that, as I said, we were doing about 35, 40,000 meals a day. So we had a team of 1,000 plus functioning, and the whole thing comes to a grinding halt. So the first couple of months last year, this time, March, April, was actually in a state of terrorized, absolutely, in the sense, what do we do tomorrow? Your mind stops functioning, stop functioning. How do we come out of this? How do we suddenly you have so much to people to look after, your teams to look
Yeah.
after, and the emotional baggage of sending people on leave for hoping for a quick turnaround so we can get them back.
Mhm.
Because I've always been very, very, very proud of my teams, and we
Yeah.
have had a long association. The teams have been in place in terms of my senior team has been there right from the beginning. So we have that kind of a people in our company, which is the core foundation of this company. Having said that, one had to balance out the loss of revenues and the other costs and all. But we braved it out after 2 months of going through that trauma. One had to wake up and get up and say that I need to do something about it. We can't go back to what we were doing. Let's do something different and see how we can come out of this thing. And I think the pandemic also showed you how you can be prudent in your ways of functioning, and it gave opportunities to come and work in new things. I've been working on some ready-to-eat foods. I've been working on cloud kitchens. Putting together various processes to which is now done in a different way of what we've been doing then before. So that's what we've been working upon. We were the emotional angle. There was a great sense of belonging when we were. I was so happy we had a team which we fed about more than 2 million people during those 2-3 months of lockdown, and we were supporting the local authorities. We were supporting the frontline personnel.
Wow, that's
We were
wonderful.
feeding the homeless. So the team was there always, and we put up the hand, and that's something which we are extremely proud of. We were able to do that, pull that off, and that gave us the strength that this is a phase we have to go through. We will fight through, and we are still fighting through. Things have slightly got better, but I think we still have another 6-8 months to go before we come back to a little bit of normalcy.
Okay. So during the lockdown, I loved your Instagram post, what you were cooking at home. And recently, I've been seeing a lot of meals under $1 that you've been curating. So for you viewers, I may tell you that if you want to follow Chef Shankar, his Instagram handle is Chef Shankar1. He's coming up with these fantastic meals under $1. And I have also tried a few. Tell us more about this initiative.
So the so pandemic was one of the reasons when what the main thing which pandemic has taught all of us is we could do with little of
Yes,
everything, whether
absolutely.
it was clothing, whether it was food, whether it was accessories, everything in life you scale down, and that stuck along. And then so that set me thinking, why shouldn't I do good food, present it well, and restaurant grade food, and yet let's be economical in our approach. So like I was walking down the street, there was a wild pumpkin tree which was growing, which had the leaves. Came back home, just cooked it and sorted it, and it was a very simple preparation.
Wow.
And it was so flavorful, it was so aromatic, everybody loved it. So that actually set me thinking. I said that I should come up with something. People are always saying that you're doing this fine dining restaurants, you're doing these expensive foods, you are using expensive ingredients, you are an expensive caterer. All these kinds of remarks was constantly be coming, where quality has a price. Why? But also set me thinking that now that we are in a new phase of life with this experience, why can't I do something good food and present it well? Yet it need not be exotic ingredients to be expensive, but so that's why I just took as a $1 as a benchmark. 75 rupees was what it was, and I started writing recipes. So I'm happy to tell you that the first, which is a batch of 50 recipes, ready. We cooked it, we photographed it, we've done it now. The ebook is launching anytime around the corner now,
Wonderful.
and this is the start of the series. And it's a dish which can be under $1 or a meal by itself also under $1. So under this volume one, the next one is going to be following. So we're going to do a new line of series, everything cooking under $1.
Excellent. We look forward to the ebook, Chef. Okay. How much emphasis do you give to health while planning a menu? Do you think chefs can play a vital role in, shaping the eating habits of people?
I think it goes both ways. The chefs themselves need to get educated about it, and it's a continuous process of education. Food, so it's always been the norm. I guess people have become more of this pandemic now. So I think, but having said that, we always had a healthy section of food on our menus. But strangely, people when they come to pay for food, they think that hey, butter chicken is better than what am I eating a diet salad or thing. But the crux of the matter is healthy food. How do you present it? What do you use it? And how do you communicate to the clientele is very, very important. And like the other day, somebody was talking to me about type 2 diabetes, how it's become a lifestyle disease now. And how can we, somebody asked me, can you come up with food without replacing the taste profile? A lot of people eat sugar free and all, and they're not happy because the change in taste and the texture and all. So I've been working on. So that was a very interesting question. So I started researching on it, like a small thing like jackfruit flour. If you add a little bit of it to the even a thing like a puri, you're frying a puri dough, you add a jackfruit flour, it does bring sugar levels down. So these
Wow.
are things I'm educating myself and I'm
I'm
going to
also doing
incorporate it. And
correct.
but more importantly, it's important how you communicate to the people. Then only I guess we'll be able to work in sync, and then the angst of oh, we have healthy food and we are not able to sell it. We are not able to sell it because we're not communicating in a proper manner. And that's what I guess everybody is doing now also.
Okay. So last time we spoke, that was around Women's Day, and you also spoke about one of your goals for 2021 is to employ more women chefs in the kitchens. So what are you doing to promote more diversity in your team? And why don't we see more women chefs, first of all, in the kitchens?
No, that's a very strange thing. I still see it. When 86 onwards, I've been in the kitchen, and that time it was a completely a dominant male presence in the kitchen. all the chefs are men. We had a sprinkling of less than even 0.5% of
Yes.
lady chefs in the kitchen, and it's
Very
getting better. It's
intimidating.
getting better, but still the participation is way lesser than what one would expect it. I think there is now renewed interest, I feel, over the last decade. More and more lady chefs are joining the standalone operations are far more dynamic than hotels, and as a career, they are seeing serious standalone lady entrepreneurs who are chef entrepreneurs who are running successful restaurants across the globe, and that, I guess, is also giving them a lot of comfort and pride in taking this as a profession. From our side, I think we need to put in a lot more effort into making the uh, selection and trying to convince women more to come on board and join the kitchens and take it as a serious profession. Even today, you go to catering colleges and see the ratio of girls to boys. That is almost there. 45-50% equal ratios are there. But when it comes to kitchen as a career, they prefer the other areas compared to the kitchen. So it's a work in progress, and I think a constant dialogue and assurance from our side is what is required to improve the count in the kitchen. I would say so. So hence, that's what I was thinking about. I told all my chefs, I have executive chefs, and this thing that let them take one intern under them. And we've reached out to colleges. We told them we are getting a renewed response. Let's hope so. We're looking to a better future and hoping that we are moving in the right direction.
Great. We're getting a lot of comments on the live. One of the persons, Vishal Baldev, who's a great foodie, has said food has recently become more about fancy names and less about flavor. Plating has suddenly become more important post the social media blitz. Your views?
I completely agree, Vishal. And I'm not a great fan. I'm not a great fan of gimmicks. For me, give me a white plate. I can good. My food looks good, and it should be wholesome and flavorful. Is the first thing. Of course, you do eat with your eyes. You do eat your essential. So your sense of proportion to the plate is important. Looks is important. Very important. We also like to do the plate up nicely. But at the end of the day, it's the core essence of the product is in what the taste profile is, what the texture is, and how close is it to what you're trying to say you are.
Okay.
And as far as the jargon goes, I believe in simplicity. Keep it as simple, straightforward language. Never use any heavy words and proclaiming authentic and this and that. People which use, which is you're not being honest to yourself.
Let people decide is what you believe. So any plans ahead that you would like?
Let the product speak for itself.
Yes. Any plans ahead that you would like to share with us? What's coming from Fusion 9 and Voila F9 in the near future?
As I said, ready to eat foods is something I'm working very closely right now. Food manufacturing is something I'm getting into. Plant food I'm working on. So a lot of interesting things happening and experimenting with various flours. So various styles of food. I think this pandemic has changed our way of functioning more. So people coming to restaurants, people being fed at homes, and in what sort of food is there going to be the choice of preference? Ready to eat, ready to cook, dehydrated, frozen. All these things. These are things areas I am now involving myself, and I think it's more fun that way. Trying to work around it. Yeah.
Speaking of flowers, I noticed in the glass onion, all the cocktails had flowers which are grown in the vicinity, right from hibiscus to, that, I mean, I haven't seen a
Yeah,
better
that's
example
right.
of
Yeah.
farm to fork. So now we are coming to the end of this and we have a rapid
We
fire round.
moved we moved on from the herb garden to the flower garden.
Wonderful.
Sure.
There's always something new in your restaurants. So, Chef, we have a rapid fire round for you. This is nothing less than coffee with Karan. It is tea time talk with Shivani. So, I'm going to fire some questions at you. A dish you love eating.
Okay.
You have to answer.
Lebanese food, any day you give me.
Okay. A dish you hate eating.
The dish, a kafta. I'm low on anything which is cold and live,
Okay.
slithering across. Not a great fan.
The dish you cooked for your wife for the first time you ever cooked for your wife.
That's a very tough one.
Or what she likes, something that.
I think I made a pizza for her.
Oh, lovely. One food trend that
Well,
appalls you.
she proposed to me then.
Oh, excellent. I think that's a wonderful tip for all the young guys out there. Cook for your loved one. Okay, one food trend that appalls you.
I told you anything on social media, eyeball, if you say eyeball attention, grabbing a gimmick, whatever it is, whether you want to stamp on food, throw things on it, mix any rubbish put together, oh, it's disgusting. It's disgusting.
Okay.
It's very, very, it's sad.
Okay.
But anything for attention. That's what.
If you were stranded on an island, what 5 ingredients would you take along with you?
5.
Yes.
I think a lemon is fine. Lemon, salt, and I think 2 ingredients are good, and some oil. Probably 3 ingredients are good enough. Rest, then we'll make it up with whatever is available.
Okay. Your favorite drink?
Malt, a nice peaty malt.
Okay. Wonderful. All-time favorite comfort food?
Who can beat burji? Burji, paratha, yellow dal.
Oh, I love that too. That's generally burji paratha is my Sunday breakfast. Or when I'm feeling low or whatever, this, it makes me happy. Okay, and which is the creepiest food you've ever had?
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is the most creepy food you've ever had?
Creepiest food. Ooh. I did taste some insects, and
where was that?
so it took me a lot of courage to taste it. This was in Cambodia.
Okay. Right. Your favorite restaurant other than the ones you have created?
Favorite restaurant.
You can name one in Hyderabad and one anywhere else in the world.
My favorite restaurant in Hyderabad, apart from mine?
Yes.
Ooh, tough one. I used to love this Gujarati restaurant. It's called, forgetting the name. But unfortunately, they shut doors, but that used to be my favorite, this thing. And my best experience, I would say, was in a small Mama's Cafe in Bologna in Italy. That was one of the finest food I ever had, I remember.
Okay. Now the last one, top food trends for 2021. Anything you'd like to predict?
Sorry?
The top food trends for 2021 that you would like to predict?
Yeah.
The top
I'm sorry, you're breaking up.
The top food trends that you predict for 2021.
Top 2?
Food trends. What do you think is gonna work? The trends that will catch on? Okay, I think I've lost him now.
Did you say the top food trends?
Yes. That's the last one before you go. I think there's some internet issue.
Hello? Yeah.
Yes, chef. The
Yeah, yeah.
last one.
Did you see the top food trend?
Yes.
I think plant food is, there's a lot of headway we're making on that. And I'm seriously looking at that aspect also. People hello?
Yes. I think we're losing you, but just the last one, if you could answer.
You hear me?
Yes, now I can.
Yeah. As I said, plant food, organic, vegan is, I think, growing in stature, and lot more working towards healthy foods is what is the biggest trend this year I see happening.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
And regional Indian food rocks.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Chef, for joining us and having this conversation. I'm sure our viewers will be giving their comments later also. Thank you so much.
I'm not able to see you.
Wish you all the best for 2021.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, and same to you. And thank you, everybody. Yeah, bye.